Hello Gemini. For this section I will be doing the Morgan Greer Tarot for the main read by Paul, what's his name? Paul Foster Case, Arthur Edward Waite. I don't know if you can read it. And for this Oracle cards, I'm using Romance Angel cards by Doreen Virtue. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Now, the overall energy here, 5 of Rods with the 4 of Swords. So this is conflict and feeling stuck, unable to move past it, move through it, kind of like a stalemate, almost like stuck in arguments, just repetitive arguments, circling arguments. It's kind of what I'm feeling here. We have some interesting pieces of this situation. I'm not really getting like what's going on in the sense of like how each side feels, but how you're coming together is, it feels like things are lost, things are offered that aren't wanted. It's almost like a negotiation that's failing. I feel like you're offered things that you don't want. You counter offer and they don't want what you're offering. But each tries to get from the other, but when they do get something, it's not what they want. Like, I just feel like it's like a push and pull that, like, when one side gives in, there's only certain things they're willing to give, and then the other side's like, well, that's not what I want, and then they try to counter offer with something else, and then the other side's like, no, that's not what I want. But I feel like this is causing like round and round arguments, like a circle effect. I feel like you're not willing to give up anything you really want. And I feel like and I almost feel like on the other side, well, actually, I'm also getting like it's partly like you don't want to give up anything that you truly do want, but there is kind of a little grudge match going on where each side knows what the other wants, and they're not willing to, they don't want to appease the other side, but they're trying to put forward like they're giving. So they give something, each side gives something that they don't really want or they know the other person doesn't want. It's kind of feeling like a grudge match, I have to be honest with you. Like, both sides are aggravated and they're just kind of like messing with each other. That's kind of what it feels like. And I wonder if some of you are going to be arguing with another Gemini. Or somebody who has Gemini qualities, because I feel like this is just like a tit for tat, back and forth. Aggravated, just like, I just feel like it's kind of like a grudge match. I really do. Which makes me, but I also feel like there's a reason, like you can't, like you don't want them to take your offer. You don't want their offer, but you don't want them to take yours either. So you're purposely offering things you know they don't want because you don't want them to take you up on the offer. Okay. There's a purpose for it. But the thing is, it's going nowhere. It's spinning wheels. Because I feel like the other side's doing the same thing. I do think in some cases, you're going to end up having a dispute with another Gemini. Or somebody with Gemini qualities. In the sense of, like, they can keep up. And they can go many different directions, too. And it's like they're match point type thing going on here. Match point, wouldn't that be a win? They're trying for the match point. Okay. Now this is on the other side. These cards are face down. It's one of the interesting things here. Alright, so the other side doesn't know what they want. Or the other side, this is how it comes out. The moon with the 2 of Pentacles. But you'll notice, this is how it came out. You'll notice that the person, the 2 of Pentacles on that card, the person there, half of their face, at least, if not more, is covered by the moon. which I feel like they're playing a game, and they're purposely not letting you know exactly what they're trying to do. I kind of feel like they're stalling, or they want to move on at this point. They want to move on? I don't know. They're stalling. What are they going for? I don't feel like they're looking to leave your life, but I do feel like they're trying to like wait out the situation. Like they feel if they just weather it out, that you'll just drop it. There's definite ideas about what they want. They're aware that there's a second choice, but there's a certain position they want you in, and they feel like if they stall it out, that you'll just drop it and they'll get what they want. And I'm kind of seeing here that that might be a case here. They might pull that over. I do feel like they're stalling it out purposefully. Because I feel like they're matching what you're doing, but the purpose for them doing that you're not aware of is they're trying to stall you out. They're trying to wear you out. They're trying to just... They feel like if they keep it going long enough, you'll just let it go. And also, I got the Four of Swords on the overall here. Like, it's a stalemate. Like, nothing's going forward, and that's on your side. So I feel like you're not getting what you want in this situation, and I do feel like you might... Well, I get the soulmate and the separation card reversed in the very center here, which makes me feel like you're not happy with the situation. It's not moving on. It's not moving forward. It's like I don't feel like the situation is really changing, but I also feel like you're not happy. Like, this feels really uncomfortable to me in the sense of like, whatever you're trying to do, it's just being blocked, and you're being drained, and you're just finally so tired and fed up with it. I feel like this stalling out, like that tactic, they're purposely using that tactic, and it feels like it's kind of working. Now, this is interesting, because so far to me, it does sound a little bit negative, downtrodden, something like that. So far, the reading feels a little, like, disappointing. Like, if I was hearing this on the other side, I'd be like, well, this doesn't sound like it's going very well. Ironically, your last card is the Ace of Cups, which makes me feel like whatever it is that's going on here, there's something you want, and I realize you're not getting it, and they're, like, stalling you out and kind of draining you. I feel like they're tiring you out. They're just draining, and it's just... You have to give up because you just don't have the energy to keep going. You're just like, you're fed up with it, you're sick of it, fine. You just kind of like, fine, this isn't going anywhere, I'm not going to have more of these round and round arguments. I feel like peace is restored, and it's like, I get like normally scheduled programming, like things go back to the way they were. I feel like the environment is good. So if this is hitting with you, I don't feel like the situation is bad, you just wanted to change. And I don't feel like that's bad either, I just feel like you were blocked. There's a lot of dependency on you. Now, I'm getting 2 cards above you, which clearly this is a general read, but with these cards, you got codependency in children. I feel like there's a lot of things you take care of in this situation. There's a lot of responsibilities. I'm getting you have a position where you know how to do things that most people in the situation don't. And you may be teaching other people how to do things, but it's far from a position where they could just take over what you do. I feel like there's multifaceted things you do. Multifaceted something. Multifaceted is the word. There's like, it's a situation, but you have a lot of pieces in that. You cover a lot of things. You know how to handle a lot of different things a lot of different ways. You have multiple experiences, the way you think, the way you move. I just don't feel like you're an easy part to replace in any sense. And I feel like the other side is seeing that too, which is another reason they stalled out. Because, like, to give you what you wanted, somebody else had to take over that spot, and there's no way. I feel like you've built it up in a certain way. I don't even know if you did it purposefully, but you're so intricately involved in it I'm not going to spit out that word this morning. You just have such a connection to it, and you're in it so deep that they're feeling like if you move on from it and somebody else tries to move in, it's going to be a disaster. There's no way it's going to work. It's going to like cut down effectiveness to like 25%. That's weird that it comes through as a percent, but hey, that's how it came through. So I feel like when you kind of move on from this, you do stick with what you have. It's normally scheduled programming, but the other side is extremely happy because they feel you excel extremely well at this position. Yeah. Now, I'm getting an interesting thing. I know it's a general read, so I try to look at it at different angles. I'm getting this as more of like a business sense, or like if it's a home thing, it's like you're in control of the finances, or there's certain responsibilities at home you have, and you were trying to shift things around, and it just didn't work out. I'm getting this as more of like things you do. Like I feel like you're making things happen. You're like out in the world doing things. So even if it's like a relationship or a romantic sense, this is how you work in the relationship. This is your part of the relationship, about like with the things you take care of, like whatever the job is you do that affects the relationship. It's things like that. Like this is something that you actively participate in, that you want to change. For most of you, I am getting this as more like a work thing. And it's like you're trying to change your position, or you're trying to change a process, you're trying to change something, and it's being blocked because it would take you away from your normal duties, and the other side feels like there's nobody else who could do that like you do it. It's not that you're not right, it's not that you don't deserve it, it's not that you're not capable, they're not seeing how somebody else could take over the position, or like there'd be an open void in a certain spot. Like you'd have to relinquish some other responsibilities to do this new thing, and they're like, they just don't have confidence somebody else could do it, and that's kind of why it's being blocked. I do feel like it goes like by the time this is over, I feel like you might have just kind of like, well, whatever, and you kind of move on from it. But I feel like peace is restored. Everybody's getting along. I feel like you're at the end of the situation, you're feeling valued. You're a little disgusted that it didn't work out. You're not really happy about it, but I feel like you're seeing the value of how they view you, because I don't feel like there's any animosity. I don't feel like you're overly excited that it turned out the way it did, but I do feel like they kind of stalled you out, and that's why this happened that way. But it does end well. Ace of Cups. It's funny because the Ace of Cups is here, and I know it's going to end well. I'm just thinking, like, the change you wanted, the way it was blocked, like, I don't feel like it's offensive, but I do feel it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a letdown. But I do feel like you bounce back from it fairly quickly. Okay, well, that's this segment's read. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead and shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you for watching.